Hello and welcome. I'm Wick, and today I will be reviewing the newest cards revealed for the upcoming Legends of Runeterra expansion, Fate's Voyage Onward. And Fate's Voyage Onward, of course, is going to be coming up with the coming out and come to us on September 13th, 2023, which is right around the corner. So let's go ahead and review today's cards. All right, great. So it looks like we have a variety pack of dual region cards today, which is really interesting. And it also looks like each of these all have the same text. So all of these, they create a explorer spell in hand, apparently. Um, and so these are all dual region, which is really fun. We haven't seen dual region since Jax. And so I do think that dual region cards are very fun and do a lot for the game. But I think before we start talking about these guys, I think we should go ahead and check out what Explorer spells are. And it looks like Explorer spells are a mix of 2 mana focus and slow speed spells. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and review the spells first, I think, because these are why you're playing the other cards. It's kind of like improvise with the weapons. Like, the weapons are what matters, right? Obviously combat cook is crazy, but that's just one of them. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these spells. And the first one is Explorer's Blunder. Explorer's Blunder, excuse me. Wick's Blunder. But all of these, like I said, all these are 2 mana, but this one is a quote-unquote Shurima spell, which is focus as well. And it says disable an enemy's positive keywords this round, and again at the next round start. This is a really great way to sort of shut down an enemy from killing you. Obviously, I think it's really interesting that it's again at round start. It kind of allows you to mitigate and play around open attacks at focus speed, right? It's that open attacks and getting into combat as quickly as possible is one of the only ways to counter focus speed spells, right? Because they resolve instantaneously. So being able to disable an enemy's positive keywords at the beginning of a round start is pretty good. I think that this card will see. I think this is really good. I think this is a really strong one. And if this is the level of interaction and the interaction of play that these explorer spells are going to be offering, I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is a really strong one, and it's pretty powerful. So I could see picking this in a lot of situations for real. And I think that's one of the strengths for these explorer spells is that they're just going to be, sort of another way for you to react to what's currently happening in the game and allow for a little bit of, um, just interaction. These are going to be like toolbox cards, right? These are your tech card that do a bunch of different things, right? So I think that's what's really interesting about this new concept of adding these explorers, right, to all of the regions with these dual region units. I think that the fact that they're adding these type of cards, like, they remind me sort of Tellstones, right, where Tellstones provide you with quick access to other spells that you may not want to main deck into your 40 card deck. Card slots are really important. So I think the decision to bring these sort of cards into the game is something that I really like, because I really like Tellstones already. I really love having that agency, and I think it is a skill testing moment to include these sort of cards, and from that point choose the right ones when you need them, and always be aware of the different opportunities that those cards provide you with the flexibility and options. I don't know. I would be interested with these cards. I would be interested to know if when you play it, if you get to see all of them, or if you only get to see like a little of them or a few of them. But I think because there's so few, I think that you should be maybe offered all of them. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get some clarification on that through Twitter with some interactions with the developers. Also, shout out to all the developers on Twitter and social media just for interacting with the community. Always appreciate all of that. Okay, so I just spoke about Explorer's Blunder, and then started talking about the concept of these cards in general. So let's go ahead and move on to Explorer's Malfunction, which is another one of these Explorer spells, and it's a 2-mana slow speed spell that simply says destroy a unit's equipment. And I think that this is crazy. Equipment right now is pretty powerful, with the destruction of said equipment even being such a premium that people are playing cards like Cease and Suppress, or whatever that 1-mana spell is from Demacia. I think that destroying equipment is very powerful. You know, we've seen Jax be a very good deck, especially in Standard and in Eternal. That's a little bit more timelines. But I think that equipment is very powerful right now. Well, maybe not powerful. What is the word? It's just, they're very good. Equipment is very good. And I think that adding more equipment destruction to the game is, I don't hate it. You know, I think it's pretty okay. I think it's fine. Like, you know, you're just like, yeah, like this is gonna come in handy very often. Like, you know, if we look at the Explorer's Blunder and the destroyed equipment, like these are both gonna be super good like options. And so let's go ahead and move on to the third one, and that's gonna be Explorer's Refreshments, which is a 2-mana focus spell, and it says heal an ally or your Nexus 2. And I mean, I hate to see healing, but I feel like, wow, I hate to see healing in every region. Ooh, wow, every region just got healing, and I don't know how I feel about that. I guess that's why they added Wildfire to the game, because they're like, you know what? We can add a good burn spell because we're gonna add this broken healing spell. So I guess it all balances out somehow, but I think that these cards are all very good. And okay, I'll just quickly speak about the last one, Explorer's Excavation, which is a 2-mana slow spell. So some of these are focused, some of these are slow. There's no burst, but it is a 2-mana slow spell that destroys a landmark, right? So I think if we look at all of these, we have unit denial from Explorer's Blunder, taking away keywords. We have we have unit destruction, or excuse me, equipment destruction. We have heal, and we have landmark destruction. So I mean, these units are being added to the game, and they're just providing every single region with hyper specific tools without having to play hyper specific cards, right? It's more flexibility through these without having to specifically play something like a Crumble, right? If you're playing a Shadow Isles, right? Obviously Quietus is very good, and so destroy equipment, but there's not many options to destroy equipment in a region like just Seraphine, because these are all 2 mana. This is actually really gross for Seraphine, I think. Okay, but that's enough about the spells. I think they're all very good. I think the concept of these Explorer spells are really interesting, and bringing these cookie cutter, you know, toolbox abilities to every single region is actually going to allow for people to deck build in a more consistent and interesting way, and still be able to deal with things without, like, Sump Monument is now not just only killable by like Piltover and Zon, right, with Aftershock. So it just makes it so that the game isn't so based on like silver bullets from specific cards, especially when you're playing ladder or something. I don't know. These cards are just really flexible, and I think that that is something that I appreciate and want in the game. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, well, but what about region identity? If every region does everything." Well, these are boring things, man. Like these are boring things, all right? Silence is boring, all right? Killing unit equipment is boring. Healing is extremely hella boring. Landmark destruction is boring. These are all boring things. Who cares if every region can do this? It's fine. It doesn't matter, all right? It just makes it so that you don't have to play terrible bad cards. Maybe the units are terrible and bad, but like I think that this is a very elegant way to address an issue that we've seen where we will just somehow at times have cards that are only, and I mean obviously like landmarks are the biggest culprit of this, right? Like we've seen landmarks just be completely terrifying, and I think that obviously people are cooking up wildfire decks with Swindler's Den and Banquet, so landmark destruction is going to be at an all-time high, I think, especially, oh my god. And then there's the sunken tomb that just came out yesterday. So I mean, like, we need decks to have access to these abilities without having to play really bad cards that are completely dead in matchups where they're not applicable, right? Like having cards that are only applicable in one hyper specific situation is terrible in Legends of Runeterra, in both ladder and in both like best of threes. I mean, obviously like best of threes and like top cut, you can kind of start talking about needing them, but these give you a general game plan against any problematic thing in the game without having to sacrifice options against not those decks. So I think this is fantastic. This is really cool. I love these. These are great. I'll even be okay with the Nexus healing. It's fine. This is a great concept. So let's quickly go over the cards that they're adding. And I think the thing that's going to be most impactful is the region combinations that these cards are available in. But I guess it also doesn't matter because every single region is getting, right? So I mean, I think it's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and check these out really fast. So the first one that we have is the Shadow Isles and Targon card. It's a 2/2. It's a 3-mana 2/2 called Spectral Surveyor, and it has lifesteal, which is terrible. Wow, this card's kind of broken. I mean, I see lifesteal and I overrate it, but I do think that we have seen lifesteal be a keyword that if it shows up, it ends certain matchups, right? And I think that the fact that they're coupling this card with the healing explorer spell, I think that's a little, I mean, this card's healing 4, right? For 5 mana. I guess that's not too good. So maybe I don't know, but I think this is really a really good card. It's a 3-mana 2/2 with lifesteal. Targon and Shadow Isles are gonna love this. It's gonna give them access to the spell. Okay, so I've added the spells up top so we can talk about the units and the spells kind of by just jumping back and forth. And I think we were speaking about the Spectral Surveyor, and I think that this card is just going to be pretty powerful. You know, we do see that we have access to healing and landmark destruction and even a pseudo, combat silence. I wonder if what we could call this, removing positive keywords. It's not a silence per se, but it is a muting of some sort. I don't know what to really call that, but yeah, Spectral Surveyor seems to be really strong. I think that this unit will see a lot of play in these regions, and I think that having access to all of these abilities on the body of a 3 mana 2/2 is pretty good. These cards all seem super good because you have access to these really cracked spells, right? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the next one, and that's going to be Armed Inquisitioner. That's going to be a Noxus Shurima. Oh, what a beautiful combination. Look at that. Reputation. Make this a 5/1. You know what I'm saying? If this is not going to have a keyword, make this a 5/1. Reputation. Please. On. Armed Acquisitioner. Play, pick an Explorer spell. So like I said, these are all Explorer spells. But Noxus now has healing. Noxus has healing, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know how often that's going to be good, how often it's going to be bad. But it's happened. You know what I'm saying? Pick an I mean, 3/1, no keyword, Shurima Noxus. I think this it's sick. It's sick. Let's go. I don't know. I want to just go through all of these, I guess, because I think these are more interesting to talk about as like a concept. The next one is Portal Pioneer, which is a 2 mana 1/1 in Vandal City and Ionia. It also has a tune, and generates one of these spells. I think that having a tune is really good when you're generating spells. I think Ionia and Vandal City love having these crazy spells. Yeah, I think it's solid. And then next we have Scholarly Pioneer, which is a 3 mana 2/3 with Challenger in Demacia and Freljord. Wow. 2/3 Challenger. I mean, it's not terribly strong, right? Demacia has a 3 mana 2/4 Challenger that doesn't really see any play. But this guy does stuff, you know what I'm saying? He can even heal himself. Disable enemy keywords. I don't know. These explorers are busted, bro. I don't know. They're all super sick. And then finally, we have the Octo Adventurer, which is a 3 mana 1/4 elusive. What? Come on. A 3 mana 1/4 elusive that generates you a crazy spell that you need. And Octo Adventurer is in Piltover and Bilgewater, of course. So, wow. These explorers are super good. I think the worst one is obviously the Nox one because it doesn't have a keyword. I don't know why it doesn't have a keyword. Like I said, if it doesn't have a keyword, just give it 5 attack. You know what I'm saying? It's already in the reputation region. I don't know. These explorers are sick. They all have, I don't know, man. We're giving regions access to anything that they could ever imagine, anything they could ever want, and I think that that's super hype. So I don't know. I'm a fan of giving these like staple cookie cutter toolboxy, really boring and simple linear. I don't know. They're just very simple effect. Heal 2. Destroy a landmark. Destroy a unit's equipment. Like, they're not fun and exciting. They're not like crazy. Like, region identity is supposed to be for these big thematic, really enjoyable, fun things, Are you gonna tell me that Noxus and Piltover and Zon, like, I don't know. These are things that should be in every region, right? To some degree. Maybe not healing, but that's fine. You know what? There should have been a burn option in here. Yeah, I said it. There should have been a burn option here. We have a silence, defensive silence, for enemy keywords. We have a equipment destruction. We have landmark destruction. We have healing. Where's the burn? Explorer spell for burn. All right. Deal 2 mana slow. Deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus. Come on. Easy clap. I don't know. These are all really cool. I really like this as a concept, and I love that these are being added to the game. I do think that the 3 mana 1/4 is probably super broken, like ridiculously broken. I think these are almost all really, really strong. I think Scholarly Pioneer is very strong. I think Adventurer is very strong. I think Surveyor is very solid. Portal Pioneer is alright. And then Arm Acquisitioner is fine. I don't know. I guess they didn't really... I don't know. It's fine. Noxus has been one of the best regions for a very long time. So they don't need more powerful options. But these are really great. So... yeah. This weird episode today. You know, with like this little kind of small variety pack. But a very interesting concept. You know what I mean? And I think it's indicative of a game design direction that I personally appreciate and like. And so I found these to be really delightful and interesting. Um, yeah. So we should be back tomorrow with more cards to review and check out for the Fate Voyage Onward expansion. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for checking out my channel and checking out my video. Of course, as always, appreciated. Please feel free to give me likes on these videos, give me comments on these videos. Let me know what you think. Tell people to watch my videos. You know, just join in. I appreciate any sort of interaction that you guys want to provide me. It's always fun to comment and reply to people. You know, I'm very active on Twitter, obviously. I think most people know that, but I love communicating with the community. So please feel free to drop me a comment or follow me and contact me on any of the other platforms. I'm Wickhelm on everything pretty much. And as always, you can join the Always Be Gaming community Discord. We, you know, sometimes play poker and hang out. We talk about food all the time and share deck codes and just hang out and host tournaments as well. So please feel free to join the server. The link is also down below in the description. So thank you once again for joining me. I will see you soon. Peace.